What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got With.
Mellow.
And Rado is a sports podcast where we talk about your favorite sports highlights, sports debates, and sports matchups. And what a hell of a week in football. What a hell of a sports week. We're in the first week in February. And I want to say what up to my man Mello. How you been, brother?
Oh, same old, man. Obviously, like you said, just thick, thick, thick of the playoffs, man. Pretty much just finished the conference championships. Basketball full swing, and obviously, as always, we got UFC events every month. So right now, we've been in a great spot for sports since probably what December, and it's
Yeah,
just
man.
going. Unfortunately, football does end soon, pretty damn soon.
We got two
But
more weeks of football, pretty much, and only one that counts, really.
exactly, I would say at least we got two more games. One's the Super Bowl, one's the Pro Bowl. But no one really cares about that in football.
Yeah, not
Um,
anymore.
basically, we're almost there, man. And what a season it's been! I actually can't believe we actually got here. First full season for us for a sport.
That's true.
Uh, Preseason to postseason. So that was a big accomplishment for us. And truthfully, obviously, it's a lot easier with something like football that's a lot shorter. But it was a hell of a season, man. Didn't end up how we thought it would end up, man. I'll tell you right now, neither one of our picks is sitting there, uh, representing the conference.
No,
Hell,
I
you
agree. I
and
mean,
Aaron picked them.
we were both very close. I mean, we both had like teams in the championship games that we thought were gonna get there. I mean, why didn't I pick my own team to make it to the Super Bowl? I don't know. Like, I guess I'm just a dumbass or something, but I don't know. I was trying not to be biased, on our first year of the podcast, but maybe next time I should be biased.
Hey, nah, I hear you. And that's another thing too. One of the things was looking back on the season. A lot of it was the ability to remove yourself from from the sport, from the emotion, and just choose based off, stats and personnel, game plan, stuff like that. So that
Exactly.
that was a tough part of the season. I'm going through the Who You Got episodes, just really just like I said, just making sure that we actually give some good analysis out here that isn't, you know what? These are my people. I mess with them. And it's crazy because we did that quite often. If not often, but like
Sure.
there's a couple times I'm like, listen, this might not be the choice that most people pick, but I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm being a little biased with this. Like I can't help it. I think these boys are gonna pull it out.
Hey,
Um,
man, definitely.
sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't, but that's what you gotta love about football and sports in general, man.
Definitely. I definitely felt like, I had one of those picks in this previous weekend when in the championship round, the AFC Championship game. I definitely had one of those picks where I wasn't, 100% sure. I was kind of going with, wasn't going with my brain. I was kind of going with my heart, thinking where, the team should go. Yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, and at the end of the day, well, both games we had going on this last weekend in the championship, our conference championships, uh, you could have made a case for either team.
Yeah, man. They were so
Each
close.
had a favorite, but neither person would have been looked upon as making a bad choice if they chose the opposite. So 100%, it was definitely some good football, and obviously that's what we're here, man. This is our NFL episode of going over the conference championship, and I
That's
say let's
right.
just get into it.
That's right. Let's recap it. I mean, both these games,
Mm.
on Sunday, previous Sunday, were very competitive. They both came down to the wire, fourth quarter. Obviously, pretty much the last possession for both teams. So I definitely want to get into it.
Oh, that's a fact. So we might as well go over the first game of the weekend, which was overtime thriller, and it's probably overtime thriller number 50,000 of this postseason. We seem to be
Yeah,
going down to overtime and going down to a field goal a lot. It seems to be a high tendency. We're talking about the Bengals versus Chiefs. If you haven't caught on by now, 31 to 28.
oof.
No, 27 to
27,
24.
24. Yeah,
1 to
27,
28 is
24.
what I predicted,
That's right. That's
and
right.
the
You were
Chiefs,
pretty close, but you had the Chiefs. See, I had
yeah,
it. I had it
Chiefs were.
pretty close, man. My prediction was 24-21 Cincinnati. I picked Cincinnati to win that game, and I picked them to win in the last second field goal too. But obviously, it happened.
At this point, almost everyone picked it to be a 3 point
I know,
game,
right? Yeah,
especially with the way McPherson's been playing with
and a
that lead,
field goal too, and a field goal. Yeah, you're
to
right.
the end of the game. So Definitely this one went into overtime, and what can you say? Joey with the gat is going to the Super Bowl, man. I'll be honest, not anyone thought that the Bengals would be the team right now representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. Not anyone. These young boys are hungry, man. Offense is flicking, defense is coming together, and they have a top five, top three kicker to rely on, and he's been clutch in the close games this postseason, clearly.
Yeah, yeah.
Chiefs and Mahomes, man, they came out pretty hot. It was a 21-3. I remember just watching the game. I'm thinking, like, yeah, since he's not getting nothing going, I think it's pretty much over there. I think they scored the first three possessions right off rip, three
Yep.
touchdowns like that. I was like, yeah, Mahomes and these boys about to run all over him. But hey, that's what's good about football. While the Chiefs were looking at full form, all Cincy had to do was just kind of buckle down. Joe keep his cool, and they slowly but surely cut creeping back. 21-3 turning to 21-13
Hmm.
with 3 minutes left in the quarter, which turned into a quick pick for Cincinnati, a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and literally 3 minutes down, end of the third, 21-21 game, and we got a game. And at that point, the rest of the game was a game. One thing I definitely gotta give shout out to is Cincinnati's defense. They started off slow, giving up 21 points, and pretty much kept the Chiefs scoreless up until the field goal that allowed the Chiefs to tie the game to go into overtime. So pretty much 24-24 to end all regulation going to overtime. Chiefs went up 21-3. Bengals pretty much shut them down until that last field goal. And you can't complain about that. And then clearly walked away with the pick, so they literally shut it down not only last second half, but they shut it down in overtime, man.
Yeah.
Everyone thought, including myself, Mahomes won the toss. It's over. They about to walk down the field. But he got a little antsy, threw a pick. They gave the ball back to Joe. Him and Mixon and the Bengals, they walked down the field. Obviously, all you gotta do is get in a little good range for your boy McPherson. And the kid, once again, is sending them to another championship. This time it's the big one and the only one that matters, man. And it was a
That's it.
hell of a game, man. That was honestly, to me, it was the best game all week. I'll be honest.
Yeah, yeah. I think I agree with you. It was definitely the best game all week.
No,
Hands down.
overtime too, man. But I don't know, man. That the Bengals really just showed another level in this game, and I was excited to see them. I'll be honest, I had the Chiefs winning clearly. I know it's going to be a tough game. Clearly, if Mahomes probably didn't pick it, there's a good chance he marks down that field and gets a TD, But hey, Bengals
True.
defense buckled down, man. Buckled down. I absolutely loved it, man. What about you, man? What you thought about that game?
Yeah, man. I mean, you pretty much broke it down very well, so I don't gotta add too much to it. Other than like, I just remember like going into overtime. You even heard like the crowd roaring because the toss went to the Chiefs' way. They since he got to pick it, they picked the tails, and then they found out it was heads, and then like everyone started roaring because the Chiefs on the and he's saying like, "Oh look, everyone's already thinking that the Chiefs are gonna score, but I don't know." And Romo was right, man. I mean, you could never count these Cincinnati Bengals out. I noticed that pretty much all season, and not just all season. I mean, even just in the playoffs, they obviously played very close games. They always played close games in the playoffs, but I mean, looking at this game. Like you broke it down, it was tough for them the first quarter. That was the toughest quarter for them. But even in the previous time that they played the Chiefs, the same thing happened to them. They were down 14 zip at the time, their first game. So it's pretty much like they're kind of used to playing from behind sometimes, or they're just very good at coming back. They know that they could trust their defense in the second half once people start getting a little tired, and once teams like to run the ball more if they're up, especially if they're up, and they know that they could utilize that, and they have a great front four. Their back four needs some help because you saw Tyreek Hill definitely did work on him up until pretty much third quarter. Third quarter is when they started buckling down and doing some more cover two on them. Like I said that they needed to do. They needed to do some cover two to keep him and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce 15 minutes or sorry 15 yards or shorter, because once they get behind you, then that's when you start having problems with the Chiefs. They love to do pretty much what Cincinnati's been doing all season, and that's those long passes. And one thing about Cincinnati, again, they added some more long passes this time. Obviously, Joe Mixon had like a nice little 30-yard pass catch, and obviously my man Jamar Chase, and he went off too for his yards. Obviously, they still had T. Higgins. He did work, but I'm very impressed by the Bengals. They were able to keep their offensive line very clean. Like they were able to keep Joe Burrow clean and not come down too many times. Obviously, the previous week when they're playing Tennessee, he went down 9 times. So seeing him now stay up in the pocket, being able to maneuver around, you could see why he is one of the top quarterbacks in this league. I mean, he can definitely control that offense.
No, honestly, man, that was a great game, a great showing. Watching Mahomes and Josh Allen go toe to toe the week before. Watching watching Burrow do it again this week, it was honestly so good. Now, mind you, Burrow only threw for like 250 yards and 2 touchdowns and a pick, but
Right.
it was a very tough game. Obviously, they were down 21-3, but in the second half, everyone stepped up. And the game where they actually held, or I thought they held Chase down to 6 receptions,
Decent numbers, right? Yeah.
TD. Higgins went off for 6 receptions and 103 yards. So pretty much they were. Oh, and obviously Mixon in the run game, he rushed for 88 yards off of 21 attempts. So I thought that they found a way to have a balanced game, and I think overall that's what won them. Obviously, OT, the Chiefs defense could not find a way to stop the run, and that's what won them that drive. Again, if
Mm-hmm.
the range was a run, it wasn't even Joe, which I actually love because they didn't need to rely on Joe. It's a whole drive. It's a new game, basically. All you have to do is get a field goal range. Let's get a couple inches at a time. So I definitely think that was a great showing, and obviously they've been doing that all postseason. Just really showing what they're made of on all sides of the ball. So hey, they won a chance to a Super Bowl. So obviously that's what's next for them. But question begs now, 3-time AFC championship and what 2-time Super Bowl winner in the Chiefs.
Yeah.
What's next for them?
I mean, honestly, the road is clear and bright for them. Like you can't see. I mean, you've seen what you've seen from the Chiefs the last 4 years. I think this is who they're gonna be. They're gonna keep getting into AFC Championship games. Obviously, there's things that they always need to plug. They need to plug holes on the defense. There's things that they need help with. Obviously, in this game, you saw that once their middle linebackers were starting to get tired on T. Higgins when he was going down the middle, and he was just like rushing them. Like once he was getting behind him, he just was able to get yards after catch easily. So middle linebackers is going to be a big need. Obviously, the strong safety Eric Berry is going to be leaving. They also got to figure out what's going to happen with Tyrann Mathieu. I think he's on his last year of a contract, so they got a lot of holes in the back end. But I mean, as far as their offense goes, I think that they're set and settled. To me, they're still one of the favorites in the NFL going into next season. And I don't even have to look at any free agency or anything. I still believe that the Chiefs are that good of a team. I mean, they almost pulled it off this week, so they could be almost in the Super Bowl now. Like, yeah, it went to overtime, and he did throw the interception, but you know, it was a close game. I do think that they're still on the same level as any other team in the NFL, and I just think that the sky's the limit for them. With a guy like Mahomes, that he doesn't seem to get injured that much. He seems to be able to, take the punishment of a full season, and other guys, you don't have to worry about him as much as like other guys like Lamar Jackson. So I definitely think that they got a bright shot to be in the championship for the next few years for sure and beyond. What about you?
I mean, you pretty much touched on all the points, man. Top 3 to 5 and quarterback, number 1 receiver, and tight end. Literally elite on offense. Top 3 safety and Tyrann Mathieu. Um, top 10 defensive ends and 2 top 10 offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, he's got to fill up a couple holes on defense, especially in the middle and in the secondary.
Yeah.
And they're good. Obviously, top 5 coach, too. So, yeah, like you said, they definitely
I
going
would
to be
say
right
like
in the
I
top.
would say top 3 coach, maybe top 2. Now that Sean Payton's gone and Pete Carroll's gone, I would say probably like top 2, top 3, yeah, with
Yeah,
Tomlin. Yeah.
100%. And most of these, like, top 3 to 5 quarterback, receiver, tight end, top 3 safety, top 5 coach, all those are, like, big, giving them a little more room. For me personally, like, Tyrann Matthew is the best safety in the league.
Yeah, I would say
Like,
so. I would say
he's not
so.
even top. Like, no, he's just top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For me, Mahomes is top 2 in the league, especially with Brady retiring. He's
I
probably the
think
best quarterback in the league right now.
I think it's him and Rogers, like 1A, 1 and 1A. Yeah.
Exactly. Tyreek Hill, you could argue top 2 in the
Top 2,
league.
3, yeah. Yep.
And then obviously no one better than Kelsey. I don't care about Kittle. No one's better
He's
than
number
Kelsey.
1. Yeah, I would
That's
say
what
he's number
I'm saying.
1.
So like, and that's just me being nice. But like, yeah, like you got literally elite, prolific players on the field and on the sideline. Yeah, they good. They definitely good. They're gonna be top dog in the AFC for a while. Honestly, this year the only team people had above them was Tampa Bay, and that's because Tom Brady. Obviously, Tom's retired. Tampa Bay probably has the best team set around to just have a quarterback step in there, but until we know who that quarterback is, the top of the NFL is definitely going right back to the Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah. So for a quick prediction, do you predict them to win 1 Super Bowl in the next 3 years?
Chiefs, yeah.
Yeah. See, I honestly, I think so
Hard
too.
to win
I
multiple
honestly think so too. Yeah.
consistently. That's what people like. A lot of people are disappointed, but like this is football. This is sports. Like it's
That's
little.
true. I mean, the
They got
only way that
what, 4 or 5 years in a row.
4 years in a row, yeah.
4 years in a row, they won 2 rings out of it, lost one. Right.
Yeah. The only way that they won't, I mean, is what obviously a lot of people are looking at is just the AFC is getting a lot better. Obviously, Cincinnati now and Bills, and obviously teams like New England are getting better.
Titans pick up a
So
QB, they still back on top.
true. But to me, I mean, looking at the way the Chiefs are, I still believe that, yeah, they could easily win 1 out of 3 in the next 3 years.
Yeah, because obviously with a lot of playoff uh matchups, like this whole thing could have been different if the Bills faced Cincinnati
True. Yeah,
instead of
true.
facing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that's very true.
I promise you, even if Cincinnati still finds a way to walk away with the Super Bowl, the AFC still goes through Kansas City next year.
Mm.
Like I know it might sound so premature to say that.
Don't give no love to Tennessee.
Hell nah. Now with Ryan at the helm, no. No,
Right.
literally, I will not give no respect to Tennessee as long as that man is on the roster. He needs to get unsigned and dropped.
I feel you. Even if he's a backup, I can't go for them.
Can't even, no, because if someone gets injured, then he's
I know, right? I still can't trust them.
Nope.
I still can't trust them. Untrustworthy, but as far as the Chiefs, they're definitely trustworthy. Obviously, this game was tough for them. You know, this was a very close game, but you saw what they did in the first half. You know, if they did the same thing in the second half, it would be a totally different story, and we wouldn't be talking about Burrow like we are now. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think that 1 out of the next 3, they're gonna come back and they're gonna get a Super Bowl again.
No, they're gonna. At this point, they're probably the best consistent team.
Yeah, man.
And
Yeah, you're right.
Honestly, unfortunately, have to be the Bills. And the reason why I say unfortunately is because they aren't even that consistent. But besides the Chiefs, the Bills are the only other consistent team in the AFC. So you can expect them to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, they've been consistent for the last 2 years.
Toss-up. And that's what I'm saying. It's only been 2 years for them. Everyone else is goddamn toss-up.
Right. I mean, the thing is with Andy Reid, though, like, if you remember when he was on Philadelphia in the early 2000s with Donovan McNabb and those Terrell Owens teams, they got to the NFC Championship game 6 times in a row one time. So, my man, he's used to those championship games, but his problem has always been winning the Super Bowl, and he got that off his back, you know, with the Chiefs twice. But, you know, we'll see in the future. I definitely think they'll be back.
No, 100%. And obviously that's the AFC, man. We got a lot of good things going on next year. Like I said, Bengals are representing them this year, but
yeah, man, good for the Bengals.
tough to run it back.
Hey. Who they?
Listen, where did that come from?
Hey man, that's like an old school Bengals chant. Old school. Like I'm talking like 50s. Like I didn't even know it until like this week, to be
That's
honest.
what I'm saying. I mean, so honestly, no, I heard it this year for the first time, and maybe it's
Right.
because Joe's been flashy and Jamar's been looking. You know what I'm saying? Now I heard it this year a couple of times, but in my head, I'm like, are they talking about who that? Like, ain't that the
Right.
Saints?
Like I always thought it was a Saints thing, right? Like who that thing gonna beat them Saints? Who that thing gonna beat them Saints? But
So nah, they definitely been saying who they all year though, and we
yeah,
finally hearing them.
the who days. They've been who daying. That's what the mayor or
All
not the
year.
mayor, what was it? The owner of the owner of the Bengals. He was like, we're gonna be who daying all night. I'm like, all right, buddy.
I don't want nothing to do with that.
But hey, let them have their fun. You know, they definitely haven't had one in a long time, so they haven't gotten to the Super Bowl in,
Let's hear.
I mean, 30 years since Chris Collinsworth was on the squad. So,
You even have text messaging.
all right, all right, crazy. Boomer Esiason days. Boomer Esiason days. That's when they were on there.
That's a fact. But either way, obviously you got an exciting electric team in the AFC. Let's go to some excitement in the
That's
NFC.
right.
So you're definitely excited about this matchup and excited about the team. The Rams are going to the Super Bowl. And the best part is, I don't care what home or away they are, which I'm pretty sure they're still home.
It's home. It's a home.
Their home stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, how often can you open up a stadium, get to the Super Bowl, get a new quarterback, for your franchise, and just like it's like a
Make it
Cinderella
first year.
story all put together. Exactly. Yeah.
It's literally like a storybook ending. Like if it happens, if we happen to win it. But I mean that the NFC Championship game was just as exciting and just as stressful too.
Hmm. That was. I'll be honest. It was. It was a game that like I knew it was gonna be defensive. I knew it was gonna be hard. Pretty much, I thought it was gonna come down to 27 to 24 win by the Rams. And obviously I knew the Rams was gonna win. But it's hey, yeah, y'all did y'all thing, man. Yeah, 100% did y'all thing. And I honestly think that yeah, it was so many the Rams right now are just looking good on all sides of the ball. And it's crazy because the Bengals right now are also looking well on both sides of the ball. But the Rams are just a team more built to do that. Like they're looking so good, so consistent. I thought it was going to be 27-24 and end up being 2017.
Pretty close.
Pretty much.
Pretty close.
No, yeah. At this point, we all knew it was going to be a 3-point game.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. I had this totally different. I thought we were gonna scrape them this time.
Yeah.
I thought, well, not scrape them, but I had a 10-point game at the end.
No, for sure. But honestly, it was like I said, the Rams stepping up in crucial times. 13 unanswered fourth quarter points to take the win. Obviously, 49ers really put that defense on all game. They trailed not the 49ers, but the Rams trailed by 10 heading into the third. And it looked like they couldn't get down going. Like at that point, it just looked like it was done. You're pretty much almost 3 quarters deep, and you haven't found no way to get your offensive going really at all. But hey, defense step up. Fourth quarter, the Rams defense really applied a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Stafford and the two heartbreak kids, OBJ and Cup, they decided to go to work, and it was an amazing. That fourth quarter alone was just an amazing output from the Rams team in general. Stafford was efficient. Both of your top receivers ended up with 110 plus yards, and Cooper Kupp with 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they found a way to stop Jimmy and that run offense from doing anything when it came late to the game. Jimmy just basically did Jimmy things. They try to use Debo as much as possible, but the Rams actually did a good job containing him. Obviously, he still gave you what? Basically, they kept him under 100 yards scrimmage.
That's decent.
That's a good game. Still gave you 72 receiving yards and a touchdown and 26 rushing. But when that's basically your top running back as well, we did a good job keeping him under 100 yards. 49ers really couldn't establish no running game. because they found a way to take Debo out. That's what killed them because they kept having to put the ball in Jimmy's hand late in the game, and he couldn't do that.
Exactly.
Also, the biggest thing that everyone was worried about is George Kittle. And what was that? 2 receptions for 27 yards and just one TD. They found a way to not only stop Debo, but pretty much neutralize that whole middle.
Hey man, when you got Von Miller on you, it's hard to make a catch.
100%. The Rams' game plan came out well. Now, you probably say, well, they barely won. They had to come back. The game plan was always there. It's just they waited till the fourth quarter until they finally started executing the way they needed.
True, exactly. You're right about that.
Always there. Like, they literally had a perfect game plan set up to stop the 49ers. They just pretty much couldn't score.
You're right about that. And we did have a problem with that in the first quarter, actually, when there was 2 catches in our second drive. One was a long catch to Cooper Kupp, who he literally dropped it, and then the second one was to Kendricks, our 4th wide receiver, who was in the end zone. He literally dropped the touchdown. It was in his hands, and he dropped it.
And that just seemed to be the story of the game early on. Like I said, finally, fourth quarter, they just put their head down, buckled down. Rams, the 49ers, honestly, their whole team just kind of disappointed as a whole. I don't think Jimmy G is good. Come on, man. Through the just to give you 230 yards.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. That's his average. You know what I mean? Like, he don't do better than that. Last drive, obviously they're up by 3 points. The Rams are up by 3 points. Jimmy G got the ball in his hands. He's trying to, do something, and pretty much Aaron Donald comes and put that pressure on, baby, and force a pick to steal the game. And that's just it. Rams are heading to the Super Bowl. So I don't know, man. Obviously, Stafford had a great game, man. 45 throws, 31 completions, 337 yards for 2 touchdowns and a pick. I think he came alive in that fourth quarter. Found, like I said, 13 unanswered points. Obviously, the touchdown to Cooper. He found a way to reel them back, and that's exactly what y'all needed that's what y'all needed to win. Not even just to say that's because y'all started off bad. We said it. Stafford's going to be the one to have to win you that game.
Yes.
He actually did that in the fourth quarter. But on top of that, you're literally stacked fucking defense. Finally. Now, I mean, hey, they literally only gave up 17 points, and most of that was in the second quarter. So, like, 10 points in the second, 7 in the third. So, clearly they still had a great game, but they buckled down and just, that's it. We're done. When you need it, that's when they came through. They basically did what the Bills defense couldn't do in the end of that Chiefs game. And it's pretty much when it comes down to crucial stops and you got a top-notch defense, we're not going to leave it up to a coin toss. We're not going to leave it up to overtime.
Exactly.
After this game right now. So
that's a great point.
That was a defense, a statement for the defense for me. Just in general, because basically they stopped all their weapons.
Yeah.
And then to put a stamp on it, intercepted them off of Aaron Donald sack, or not even sack because he intercepted him, off of Aaron Donald pressure to seal the game. So really that was more of a defensive statement for me. But either way, Stafford and his receivers show that they ain't nothing to mess with. So great game by the Rams, man. And at this point, they're clear favorites in the Super Bowl matchup against the Bengals, man. So I know you're excited that they won that game. And I know you see them in the big dance. So what about you? What you think about that 49ers versus Rams 3?
I mean, yeah, great points on that, especially like what you said about, them getting pressure in a top defense that needs to play good in the fourth quarter. Obviously, you talked about what the Bills couldn't do against the Chiefs in the fourth quarter, and the Rams actually did it. Those are some really good points because that was really necessary in this game. I remember in the 2 previous games when we played them earlier this year, the fourth quarter was crucial for us because that's the time when Jimmy G was actually able to move the ball on us. I remember we were playing a lot more zone coverage against the 49ers, and the 49ers, they love to do that play action. So they kept on doing screens, wide receiver screens, and that sucks against the zone. And we were doing terrible, against him in the previous games on the fourth quarter. He was always able to, come down the field. The first game that we played him, he actually came down on a 90-yard drive at the end of the game. So he was able to do that, and this time we were finally able to get some pressure. Obviously, the pressure was first, but I think that the reason we were able to get the interception is because everyone was playing man to man at that point. By the fourth quarter, everyone was like pretty much playing man. So I yeah, so I think it was really good coverage and really needed too. I think that we played Deebo Samuel great. Obviously, you got the number one. I would say the number one cornerback in the league. Guarding him. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey is our cornerback. I think he would be considered number one. Obviously, we got Von Miller on Kettle. We got our front line is still amazing. Our front four is amazing. We talked about it. Our wide receivers pretty much went off in the fourth quarter, and that's what we needed. But I'm really impressed by OBJ, man. He continues to impress me, and not just by like the numbers are good. Yeah, they're good, and we really didn't see that in Cleveland. But the type of catches he's making, like he's catching third down catches.
He's all catches. He's finding ways. He's a possession
catches, exactly. And one thing that people in Cleveland were talking about him, they were like, "Oh, he's dropping a lot of passes. He's dropping a lot of passes." But one thing I always knew about OBJ, and the reason why I loved him when he was on the Giants, I thought he had the best hands. Obviously, like he's famous for that one catch, the one-handed tip catch. But I think that he's always had some of the greatest hands, like playing in the middle, getting the catching the ball.
I mean, he'll find a way to catch it.
Exactly. And I think that you're really seeing this now from him. Like the last 4 weeks, I've really been seeing that. Like obviously, he had that one 2 weeks ago where he caught it in the end zone, in the final seconds pretty much. So he's got big catches right now, and we're gonna need him, coming up in the Super Bowl. But as far as this game, I was very impressed by our defense, by what we were able to do against the number one rushing attack. Or I think they're number one or number two because it's either San Fran or the Eagles are number one or number two. They always like switched on and off this year. But
I was number two.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the Eagles are probably number one by the end of the season. But still, number two rushing attack, getting around 200 yards a game, and we're able to stop them to 50 yards total. With all the two good running backs they had, Mitchell. Obviously we're able to like slow him down, and Jimmy's not the greatest passer. So once you're able to take away the run, you're really gonna make him pass. And one thing I will give the 49ers is once Jimmy does give the ball to the wide receivers, they're able to get a lot of yards after catch. Like Brandon Ayuk and obviously Deebo Samuel, they're so good at that. So once they catch the ball, they are able to get those extra yards, and that's one reason why, like looking at Jimmy's stats, like not only am I not impressed, but like yeah, he went 16 for 30, 232. Like yeah, the average is okay, probably around like 15 yards a catch. But if you really
you catch for 69 yards,
those yards, it's not Jimmy.
Yeah.
Right. I want to know, like, what I really want to know is how long the ball was in the air. That's what I want to know. I want to know like ball in air yards, because then it'll be probably like 50 to 60. Because I'm telling you, like they're utilizing like wide receiver screens for sure, and I definitely think that being able to stop that and being able to stop the run, we definitely were able to take this game, and I'm very impressed because we're gonna need this going into the next game, going into the future. But we'll talk about the in a later date. But for now, I really wanted to talk about what's the future for the 49ers, because this is going to be one of the most crucial questions of the offseason going into this offseason. Obviously, like everyone, even the commentators during this Rams 49ers game said, are we looking at Jimmy's last game? We most likely are. We're most likely looking at Jimmy's last game. So my question is, what's going to happen next with the 49ers? What do you think is going to happen with their offseason? What's up? Are they going to make it back to the playoffs next year?
They're definitely not going to keep Jimmy. I don't think there's no point. They had a top 5 coach in Shanahan. Top 3 offensive playmaker in general when it comes to Deebo, whether it's running back or receiver. He's literally top 3 in just offensive playmaking. Top 10 defense. Great offensive scheme when it comes to the run. They have a great run scheme. I'll be honest, they just need to drop Jimmy G and find a quarterback, and they'll be pretty good. The only issue is pretty good just won't be good enough in a division with the Rams and Cardinals. So the
Yeah, that's
window is closing very fast because you can't keep relying on making it as a wild card every year. In the NFC, that's not a good plan of action. And you're not gonna get a team that's anywhere near as good as the Rams or Cardinals, even with the Rams losing some pieces if they don't come back this year, unless you have a very, very, very good quarterback. So basically, they have to like that's the thing. Like they can't just sit here and just get rid of Jimmy to keep Trey Lance for the next 3 years. They're not
see,
getting to the playoffs. They're
that's
not.
my thing though. I doubt that they are going to be able to get another quarterback because of how much they spent to get Trey Lance. Like they moved up in the draft to get him. They're paying him a pretty high contract for a first round pick. He's still getting like around $5 million a year. So honestly, like they spent so much draft capital and they're spending money on him now that I feel like they're stuck with him and they're gonna need to like keep going with him. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't know. They might do that. A lot of NFL teams are just
Yeah.
not willing to admit that they made mistakes. Um, a lot of people don't even think that Shanahan that was his guy to begin with. He wanted Fields. So at the end of the day, they're probably gonna just stick with him just to prove a point. But at the end of the day, they're not gonna get anywhere with it. So
Yeah. I mean, for me, honestly, I think that they could be a wild card team, but not next season and not the season after. If you give them 3 years, like we don't know what this team is going to be in 3 years, but I just don't think Trey Lance is there.
the other team in the NFC is gonna be in 3 years. That's the whole
For
point.
sure.
You can't
I
win the next 2 years, it's over.
well, the reason why I'm also saying that is because I'm seeing how good the Rams are right now, how good the Arizona is getting, and I kind of agree with you. I think it's going to be hard to get in the NFC West. As a wild card, it might be a little easier, but they're not going to win a division. Not with Trey Lance. I think he's not there yet. Kyle Shanahan. One thing about him, he loves the dual threats. Obviously, when he was in Washington, 2012, he was the quarterback coach with RG3 and you saw that's the type of guy that he liked. Is Trey Lance RG3? I don't think so. I don't think he's even close to a rookie RG3. Not later RG3, but a rookie RG3. He's not even close. Um, I don't think he can even read defenses yet. He needs some time. For me, they have a really good team though around them. They have a really good team, and that's why I am kind of with you. I do think that they should get a quarterback, but I think they're stuck, man. I think they're stuck with Trey Lance. They made a mistake on picking him up so early. If they picked him up this year, in the draft that early, they should have gotten rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. I know I'm saying that, and they were just in the NFC Championship game, but I feel like they still should have done that just so they can get some draft capital back. Because now, I mean, what's looking like he might go for like a second round pick because everyone knows he's leaving. Jimmy Garoppolo, that is. There's no way they're going to get a first round pick for him. So for me, I just think that I am kind of with you that they need a better quarterback to really take it to the next step. Because look how much they have. They have Deebo Samuel. They got a great running game. They got Kettle. They got really good defense. Honestly, like a great defense. Bosa's back there. Like they got uh, Richard Sherman back there. Like they still got a good defense. So I think that they are missing that one piece, but I think they're just stuck. I think they're stuck in their ways with Trey Lance. They're gonna have to be stuck for probably around 2 years.
Yeah, no, I just don't see them having any window to do anything really. So they're definitely screwed.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I mean, if like something happens and like they pick up, I don't know, some sort of backup, like a Baker doesn't get picked up by anybody, and he goes there to compete for the job. I don't know. This is just theories, but I don't know. Maybe that can be a little bit of a upgrade from what we saw in Trey Lance, but I don't know. I think that they're stuck. I think it's gonna be tough for them to get back to the NFC Championship game.
No, it's gonna be tough for them to get to the playoffs. Like I said, I don't think that they get to the playoffs and a wild card being third in the division in the NFC again.
Yeah, man. I
Like
think yeah,
again,
right.
probably the Eagles might not make it again, but even then, they might. And you
Right.
still have
Right.
other teams that was right on the cups or the cusp, and they're definitely gonna try to make it again for sure.
But one thing about Shanahan though, like Shanahan loves to get the most out of his offenses, and I definitely think that next year you're gonna see the running game is still gonna be just as potent.
No, for sure, 100%.
Mhm. But I mean, it's definitely interesting to talk about them because they are going to be one of the most intriguing teams to talk about. Obviously, like most people like us and other pundits, they're already talking about Jimmy's done in San Fran. Like he's done. And it's crazy to me. Like he took him to the championship game and they're calling it quits with him. I mean, that's just the NFL though, but we both agree that he's just not
You
there.
said
He's
the
not
wrong thing. That's why though he didn't take him nowhere.
exactly. He can't take you over
No,
that
he
cliff.
didn't even take him to the championship game. He was just riding along.
He was riding along, but he made a few plays here and there, you know, especially like early on in that Cowboys game he did. Other than that, like not really.
Right. Yeah. That Cowboys game was a little different.
Right.
But there you have it, man. Conference championships are over. Bengals versus Rams in the Super Bowl.
That's right. Oh, I'm so
But
excited to see my team. Man.
that means 12 teams that
Yeah.
entered the playoffs are no longer there.
Nope.
And as much as we are excited to see
Mm-hmm.
the Bengals, which we expect to be a shootout,
Right.
to be a shootout. Ain't no way the Bengals defense can hold anybody on the Rams side. And Rams defense might be able to hold Joe Burrow. Watching Jamar Chase get off is definitely about to be a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So definitely excited to see what both those teams have to offer. But let's spend a little bit of time talking about the other 12 teams that exited the playoffs.
Right. Right.
Let's see this. I want to know, do you think if any of these teams will be back next year? Spend a couple minutes talking about what chance they have honestly getting back into the playoffs next season.
Right. So, I mean, obviously, we just talked a little bit about the 49ers in this episode, and obviously, we talked about the Chiefs a little bit earlier. So, that is like two of those teams. And I mean, I think we both agree. We can both agree that we both believe the Chiefs are going to be there back in the next, but we already said it, in the next 3 years, they're going to win a Super Bowl. So, let's just discount the Chiefs. Let's just focus on the other teams other than them and the 49ers. Like I said, we talked about the 49ers, so I'll keep going with it. With the Eagles, I think we both agree that it's gonna be a little tough road for them, but not as tough as some of the other teams because they play in a easier conference in the NFC least. I think that they have an easier shot than a lot of these other teams. I mean, with teams like Pittsburgh, I do think that they're gonna have a long rebuilding process. But obviously, there's other teams like the Bills where I definitely think that let's just go let's go team by team. How about that? You want to
Yeah.
choose a team? How about you choose a team and
Start off with the first teams. We'll just go in the order that they exited.
right.
And we already talked about 49ers and Chiefs. We both say yes for Chiefs. So what do you say real quick for 49ers? Because I say no.
Well, I say no too. I say no.
Yeah, they make it to the
Unless like we
they get an elite quarterback.
yeah, exactly. Which I don't think is happening.
Exactly. Okay, so yes, all right. So Chiefs, yes, 49ers, no. Raiders, first team that got exited.
So I won't be honest. I'm very excited about their new coach, but I do want to see what happens there. Josh McDaniels is there, so we will see. I think I think that Derek Carr is not the guy from them though too. So I don't think they're gonna make it next year. What about you?
I actually got yes, AFC. While the rest of it's getting better, there's still so much room. Come on, Steelers made it at the end of the day. You got so many, like everyone, almost like what 10 teams, of possibility of making it with the same record in the
That's
last
true.
couple of weeks. So Raiders will always be just with pure talent will always be on the top of that list of average teams.
True,
So I
but
think 100% make a playoff push for the next year, even with Derek Carr.
yeah, I mean you might be right, but that's probably one of my reasons why I don't think they're gonna make it because there were so many teams close at the end of it in the AFC where I think one of those teams might just overtake them.
Well, here's one team that I don't think is getting back in the picture, and that's the Patriots. That's why I think that the Raiders will be one of those teams that can get back. But at the end of the day, it took a lot of fucking up by the Bills and other teams for the Patriots to get into. Like I'll be honest, if the Bills don't fuck up, the Titans don't lose Derrick Henry, and the Chiefs don't have like literally a shitty first half.
Meltdown. Yeah.
Yeah. Patriots aren't in there.
Hmm.
They got on the wild card. So I think even with Matt Jones being a little better, that even with a top notch defense, you just can't if you can't put offense on the board like that. Like I don't think next year actually. I think they're gonna try a little more with Mac next year, and it just gonna translate into a losing season.
See, this one we disagree. I mean, this one
Yeah,
I think
well,
we disagree a lot, and that's because honestly is their division as well. I mean, they're going to play the Jets twice. They're going to play Miami twice. So off the jump, that's at least
they
4 wins,
might get
maybe
one
3.
game from Bills, so that's at least 5 games in the division.
Let's say 5. Like let's say they could lose two of those games, so 4-2 in the division. I mean, all they got to do is go 6-8. The rest of the time, and I think they can make the playoffs. So I think that they do have a shot. Or sorry, 6-7. They would have to go the rest of the season, but I do think that they have a shot to make it back into the playoffs next season, just because of that reason. I think they're a type of team that they can make it in the wild card. Yeah, I do think so.
100%. They definitely got a good chance to make it into the wild card. But like just thinking of this year, obviously all the teams that played, you still got teams like the Chargers, the Browns, the Colts.
I agree, but the
I expect
Patriots.
them to get just a little better, especially with quarterback play.
No, I definitely agree. Quarterback play is huge, but the Patriots did have a top 5 defense. They had one of the best running games in the league this year, and I think that there are a few skill position players from making Matt Jones a decent quarterback. Because if you look at him when he was on Alabama, he was a pretty good thrower. He just doesn't really have much to throw to in New England other than Kiki Bourne or Kendrick Bourne. Sorry.
So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising right now. I'm not gonna give him no. I don't think his
Right.
transition and his
Yeah,
second year spike is just. I don't think he's gonna be what he should be, or what everyone think he will be, just based off. A lot of people just thought he was gonna. He had such a good year and want to give him rookie of the year. At the end of the day, he was an average quarterback.
no, he definitely slowed down.
Because for any rookie to go in there, understand Belichick's system. There's a lot of pressure. So I understand that he has the mental IQ to be there, but skill wise, he's not there yet.
Right.
But we also have a lot of young quarterbacks who aren't there yet that made it to the playoffs, and that's Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I don't think they come back next year.
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, like I said a little earlier, it might be a little bit easier for them because of their division. Because I don't think the Giants are moving anywhere yet, and I don't really think Washington, the Commanders, let's say their name.
Commanders.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. The Commanders.
How the hell they come up?
I was almost gonna call them the football team again, but
I know.
Commanders. I
I
guess.
was looking to correct you.
But I mean, the Eagles, I don't think that they're going to get back. I do think that they're on the right track. I think they got a lot of holes they need to plug, especially because they're going to be losing a few guys on defense, and they're going to be losing their top wide receiver this year. So, and Alshon Jeffrey. So, we definitely will see what's going to happen there. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, for sure. You got like 3 teams in one division. Teams like the Vikings, the Saints. Well, a quarterback injury, they could have been a decent team. But yeah. I don't think the Eagles come back.
I mean, they were almost in the playoffs, the Saints. Like, if it wasn't for...
That's what I'm saying. If J-Bo
the 49ers really got them out of there. The last game of the season.
So, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't think the Eagles make it. Other team in the division, the Cowboys, 100%. And they re-up on coaching, and they going back to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but what are they going to do in these playoffs? Like, are they going to just go back home like they always do?
Nah. It's not our job.
Right. That's not. But we're just talking about them getting into the playoffs.
Exactly. We let them and the Bills try to see who folds first.
Right. No, I think they're an accident waiting to happen, but I think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's guaranteed. Especially they're gonna win that division. And that's most of these teams that actually coming back is because they're gonna clearly win their division.
Yeah.
One team who's not gonna win their division though is the Steelers. They're not coming back next year, especially without Big Ben. Like you said,
unless there's something crazy happens and one of these top quarterbacks goes there, because they do have a really good defense and a pretty good running back in Najee Harris, who was one of the top rookies this year. So I definitely think that they have pieces, but they need that quarterback. And if they don't get a top quarterback, there's no way. There's no way they're not going to get back for the next 5 years. Maybe 3 to 5. Let's say 3 to 5.
So they got a long way down. They just probably worried about getting a winning season at this point.
Right. I don't think Rudolph is the guy though for them. Mason Rudolph, I don't believe in him.
But my man, he better go back to the North Pole and start giving out Christmas presents. 'Cause he's
Something, bro. Like he needs to Rudolph his way out of
yeah,
there.
something, boy, fly.
Mhm.
Cardinals, clearly.
Interesting one. This one is very interesting. Obviously, they're they were the top dogs this year in the NFL for the first time. Yeah, they were 10-0 at one point, and everyone had them as a Super Bowl contender. Obviously, once my man went down, the quarterback went down.
Murray.
They started, losing a few games, and then they obviously lost Hopkins, their top receiver. So, and obviously J.J. Watt. I do think that they have amazing pieces, and I think that they could easily get back, and not just as a wild card team. I think that them and the Rams are gonna be up there, like literally fighting every year the next few years, especially like the next 2-3 years. We're gonna be fighting with them for that number one seed in our division. I think that some years it might be us, some years it might be them, and it's just gonna be like that. And you almost saw it this year. I just think it's gonna be like that for the next few years. They're very talented, and they have a really good coach, very good offensive minded coach that's doing things a little bit different in the NFL. I know you can't like really change it up, but he's doing things a little different. What do you think about them though?
Yeah, no, they're definitely gonna have to contend with the Rams to keep top division, but that's why I consider them guaranteed a wild card. Like they're
Yeah,
just like I said, like they're gonna get a wild card regardless. Um,
guaranteed for me too. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. Back in the AFC, Titans. Even like I said, all they need is to get rid of Tannehill, and they got a decent defense, great running back, and
you want
great.
him to get rid of him just like that. Like
So
my man got you to the AFC Championship game. He got you
he
as a
came
first.
from nowhere. The first time he put his hands on the ball, he threw 3 picks and sent them home.
You're
The
right. It
first
was all
time
Henry.
he put his hands on the ball. Yeah, no, but as long as they have Derrick Henry, then yeah, they get to the playoffs. Simple
Yeah,
as that. And the AFC, as long as they got Derrick Henry, they get to the playoffs. So as long as they improve in quarterback, they might actually win some games.
I mean that division isn't that tough either, other than the Colts. So I do think that they get back there too. I do agree with you. I think that if if anything happens, maybe Derrick Henry gets mad and doesn't want to play with a guy like Tannehill anymore, and that he wants to get traded. And since they do have Dante Foreman, they decide to trade him. Then maybe they don't make the playoffs. But if they have a guy named D. Henry on their squad, they're making the playoffs, and if he's available. Yeah.
But talking about a team who won't have their main guy named Aaron, we're going to the Packers. They will not be making the playoffs because Aaron is pretty much made it 100% clear. He's not about to be in that uniform next year. He didn't even want to be in that uniform this year.
Nope.
And then he and the rest of the team folded in the
Yeah, they kind of
playoffs.
did.
And now his reputation is goddamn near ruined in Green Bay.
Mhm.
Because all that tenure, the way you left the nasty taste in your mouth, or how you handled the stuff that went on this year, just to only get one Super Bowl, he can't go back. He's not going back. So the Packers are done for. They're about to be forced into another rebuild as well. So no.
Yeah, yeah. I think I agree with you. I mean, he was contemplating the retirement. So I mean, when a guy's speaking about that, playing like at one of the best levels that he's ever played, he might be up there for an MVP this year.
And Tom Brady just left too.
Right. I mean, so like you see guys like this, but obviously Rodgers is like 6 years younger than Brady, so I do think it's a little different situation. I do think Rodgers could be a guy like Brady to move on to another team and try to win a Super Bowl. I'm with you. I think they move on from him and they go to Jordan Love, and I think that Rodgers gets himself a nice situation somewhere. I don't know where, but I do see him being successful wherever he goes. To be honest,
I know
I
what
I mean,
it's
there's
we about to talk about, and it's the
yeah,
best team set up for anyone in goddamn football if they want to go somewhere.
yeah,
The Buccaneers.
yeah.
Um, Tom Brady retires. Even without Tom Brady, they literally have uh, Fournette clearly came back and showed himself to be a top 5 running back in the league.
Yeah.
In a scheme that wasn't supposed to work for him. That's why I keep gotta reminding people.
Hmm.
He wasn't supposed to be that running back because Tom Brady can't use him. He can't be a catcher.
Hmm.
They refused to use him in the beginning of the year, but they had no choice but to because of injuries. And
Right.
he shined.
He did. He did.
Obviously, Evans, even if Gronk don't come back, I'm pretty sure. I mean,
Still
that
got Cameron Broad. Still got.
I'm saying Gronk was just Tom Brady's style of play.
They still got OJ Howard, but he was just injured all year. He was on IR, so they still got some tight ends too.
Yeah, so I think with and without Tom Brady, they make it to the playoffs, and I also think that that's a top destination spot for any decent quarterback with skills looking for somewhere to go this year.
What do you think with any quarterback they make it? Because I'm going to throw something out at you real quick. Well, before, let me just answer the question. I do think I agree with you. I think they made the playoffs. They got a great team, like you said. Evans is still going to be there. Godwin is still going to be there. They still got Brock, and obviously their defense is still pretty decent. But here's what I thought was very interesting, because this just came out a few days ago. Bruce Arians, because obviously Tom Brady didn't tell Bruce Arians that he was going to retire. Bruce Arians said there was going to be a 50-50 decision. You know, he wasn't 100% sure that he was retiring, but he said it was 50-50 and that he's looking at contingency plans. So Bruce Arians came out and said that he's interested in Jameis Winston. And I'm thinking to myself, didn't they just let go of Jameis Winston 2 years ago? The same coaching staff let go of Jameis Winston. And now he's about to be a free agent. Jameis Winston's going to be a free agent because obviously New Orleans is doing a turnaround now, and he's not going to go back there. And they're already talking about Jameis Winston reuniting with Tampa Bay. And for me, I think that's insane. And I don't know if they made the playoffs with a guy like Winston again.
So here's the thing, and I have to give it to you. Jameis Winston definitely just seemed like a whole new quarterback. And with the Saints, obviously, he's just not obviously like elite all of a sudden.
Right.
But literally, exactly, he will consistently give you 250 to 300 yards and at least 2 to 3 touchdowns. Now that might come with at least a pick.
I was just gonna say he's known for being like the league leader in interceptions, and he's done that like four times in his career. So.
Yeah. So, but hey, my man has been 2 seasons now with the Saints. And it's hard because of injuries, but I don't know. Maybe they want to switch up their style because at the end of the day, they just coming from a quarterback that just led the league.
Yeah, and passing
Jameis Winston. That makes no sense. But hey,
I mean, one thing about Winston, he did throw 5,000 yards when he was on Tampa Bay like 3 years ago, actually. So, you know,
his last year on Tampa Bay, he threw for 5,000 yards.
Right, so he can do it.
But 30 fucking picks.
That's his problem. He's not Tom Brady in that account.
He could cut down on the decision making. Then they probably wouldn't find him back.
I definitely think a guy like Aaron Rodgers should definitely think about that destination because Tampa Bay is a beautiful place.
With Bruce right now, like nigga, what you got for me?
Right, definitely. Most desired destination, I would say, this offseason.
And then last, I'm laughing. I'll tell you why. Last team we got on the list is the Bills, and it's funny because the Bills are definitely making the playoffs.
Right.
I literally looked at my notes to see which team we had left, and I definitely put a no.
No. You put a no.
How the hell did I put no? They definitely making the playoffs. Like they're winning.
You didn't believe in you didn't believe in them this year. You're not gonna believe in them next year, even if they start out 6-0.
I actually put no when I know for a fact that the Bills are making the playoffs. It's like I love to hate these guys. But yeah, no, 100% they're making the playoffs, man. They're winning the division. They pretty much got the third best team in the AFC. At this point, unfortunately, we have to put the Bengals over them, just because they're in the damn Super Bowl.
Yeah. And Chiefs as well, I would say.
Chiefs, yeah. But other than that, I think they got the second best team in the AFC when it comes to overall team-wise consistency. They're going to get one of the top corners back last year that they lost, so that's going to help with that top defense. And obviously, as long as they get some sort of fucking run game, they are golden.
That's my thing right there. Yeah, I was just going to say that, like,
Davis, you can deal with that with a quarterback like Josh Allen as long as you can establish a run. With the top defense, like literally that's the only thing you're missing, and you're good. So yeah,
I agree. But they can't be going out there with Josh Allen being their number one running back every year. Like the last 2 years, he's
young boys that they got, but they need a legit run, and not just a running back. They need to establish the run game.
Yeah, and I do think that they are going to be looking that direction this season. I read this offseason. I think that Singletary is going to be leaving, so they're going to have Moss on the under contract, and they are going to be looking at other guys like hopefully like a Melvin Gordon. I mean, he's still got some in his tank. He played pretty well for Denver this season, so he could definitely be a good 1-2 punch with, or
And
1-2-3 punch with him, Moss, and Allen, because yeah, Allen's still gonna do like 500 yards a year. I definitely think that. So
but you got to get some pressure off of that, man.
I agree. I don't think that he needs to be doing like 700 to 800 yards a season. 500 is decent, but not 800 is like, bro, bring it down a little bit because you don't want to get hit over the course of your career that much.
He's not sliding for nobody. You know what I'm saying?
He don't.
You know what I'm saying? He's getting hit. Sooner
I
or
feel
later,
like
he's about to give. I like it. That's the one thing. I went to see a few games in Buffalo, and the one thing, even before he became known as a running quarterback, that was the one thing that always impressed me. I was like, I don't know why people don't talk about how well he moved. And that was his first 2 years in the league. I'm like, God damn, that boy know how to run, man.
True.
And now everyone sees it. So you definitely gonna have to. That's a skill, but it can't be your only skill. Or it can't be the Bills' only skill.
Right, but I definitely believe in the Bills. I definitely think that they're a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, but I'm kind of like the Cowboys with them. It's like until I see it, I'm not gonna 100% believe it.
Boy, I'm gonna have Josh Allen gonna have to DM me himself like, yo, we made it to the Super Bowl before I ever believe it.
Bro, you remember the intro of Titanic, right? The intro of Titanic when the old lady starts telling the story. It's been 84 years. That's what the Bills and the Cowboys are. It's been 34 years since we won a Super Bowl. So until I see it,
I have a better chance finding that diamond in the damn sea that she threw over.
Yeah, exactly, right? But, I mean, we'll see if one of these teams is going to be a diamond in the rough next year and take that next push and move past, what they did this season. Because it'll definitely be interesting. Definitely going to be an interesting offseason. Then for us, it's going to be interesting because definitely we'll be talking about it the whole time, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this was a great episode talking about divisional round and obviously what's going to be happening next. We really appreciate you guys listening to this episode. And if you want to watch this full episode, check us out on YouTube. If you want to listen to us, check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And if you guys want to ask us questions, you know where to find us.
Exactly, man. Comment, share, like, support. We love it all. We want to thank you because we were pretty much one game away from the end of our first full season for our sport. So it's been a good ride, but the NFL is almost over, and I hope you're ready to get back in the full swing of this NBA because things are definitely going to start heating up. But don't go away too far because we do got the Super Bowl coming up. So we got one more showing for y'all for this NFL season, and obviously we got to see who wins it all.
That's right. I'm very.
We appreciate it.
Really appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys next time on Who You Got With
Mellow
and Rado. Peace.